education limits your imagination. It's called indoctrination. Okay, this is a fact. Tesla and Heisenberg knew what was going on in the universe. There is a microverse that is called string theory. Okay, when you zoom out so far, you have filaments. All right, on a micro fundamental scale, these filaments are still there, but we can't measure them because only fractional microcharges or fractional micro measurements are all we have, and our math is not transitional enough to account for these micro masses and all the stuff that we get in the Hadron Collider. The Hadron Collider proves that this microverse exists. It proves string theory. It proves that the universe is plasma. Literally, everything in the universe is plasma. You have your nuclear DNA and you have your mitochondrial DNA, okay? You have your point particle that exists inside the mitochondrial DNA, which creates life. This creates life in the universe. These point particles are micronovas, or micro big bangs that happen and create microcosms. These microcosms end up leading us to the unicosm, which is the universe and fundamental measurements that we know and live in. This is 0-point energy. This is what Heisenberg talked about. E equals mc squared. All of this energy all over the universe can be converted into matter. And that's all the matter we have. So this proves those 2 points. And Tesla's 369. This is how this plasma ends up existing in quark material, and then in protons, neutrons, then electrons that end up forming the God particle, which is the Higgs boson, or the singularity that we know of. Okay? Once this happens, now we're on our cosm. Now we can actually measure the universe on our fundamental measurements. This is the unicosm. This is born from a microcosm, which is a microverse. It's exactly like the one that we have, that we are micro of when we look out in space. It's exactly the same thing, except for it's on a much, 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 much smaller level. That's why the Big Bang is a point particle, basically, but it's huge in comparison with space. Just like a point particle is tiny and exists only a second compared to us, but it can be a second compared to us, but exist an eon, a stellar evolution to the universe, okay? You always have these two, like I said. You have the strong, which is the nuclear, and the mitochondrial, which is the weak. Okay, this is what forms the Earth. This is what gives life to the universe, this plasma. Okay, this strong force, this weak force, it always re-manifests on a larger scale. Okay, we have stars, then planets orbit it. Planets and moons orbit it. Moons and submoons orbit it. Okay, we'll have a galaxy or a black hole or the nuclear center. Then we'll have dark energy and electrons around it, which is the weak energy, okay? That's what a black hole is. It's straight nuclear, strong force energy. Everything around it, that's electron energy. That's the dark matter. That's the covalent energy that you have in the electron shell. Basically, everything from the electron's shell out. On the microcosm, it holds particles together. On our nutricosm, it holds galaxies together. On the macrocosm, it holds filaments together, which, when you get back to that scale, it's all plasma again. See what I'm saying? This is the key to the microverse. This is the part of the theory of everything. You have to understand this before you can understand how the universe came into being. You have to understand that this is indoctrination. All of this space existed first. This Big Bang happened all around here too. Where's the rest of it? It can't just go one way. They say, oh, space is expanding. Well, obviously the matter in space is expanding. Space is always. You cannot erase space. It is static existence. And that is the dark matter that we see. Static electron energy. Electron energy. Static clouds. Dark energy. Or dark matter, I mean. Literally, we need an alpha telescope to be able to see into it, because this is the weak nuclear force energy that holds an atom together on a universe, on a microverse. See what I'm saying? In the microcosm, this dark energy or dark matter, or the dark matter really holds this together in the covalent shell, okay? And that's why we need nuclear to be able to see it. And none of our electronic equipment works. It's blind. It's blind. It's blinding us. We can't even see it. And black holes are this strong force. Okay, that's all they are, is this strong force. And it's going to take an electron telescope to be able to see that. because light cannot penetrate into a nucleus. We need electrons to be able to see that small. Therefore, we need electrons to be able to see in a black hole. The dark energy is shed. Okay, that's the gravitons. That's the weight of the singularity. Once it blows up, it sheds that 2g and only remains fundamental gravity 1g. And all of that graviton 1g energy that was added to the 1g of relativity, of fundamental gravity, is all dark energy now. It's, instead of pulling everything in, it's boom, spreading everything out. This is the problem with gravity. The strong force, 0.5. Weak force, 0.35. Electromagnetism, 0.15. All right. Electromagnetism can double for gravity. Okay. This is 1g. All right. It can only double for gravity in our cosm, because in the microcosm, these particles did not know what electromagnetism was, basically. All of these fundamental particles can react with electromagnetism, but electromagnetism is not going to react with them. Because in fusion, we have to create gravity with electromagnetism to compress the star. The gravitons start out with this 0.15 energy, okay? Not the electromagnetism, all right? But electromagnetism didn't exist yet, okay? Once this formed, the singularity formed, and you have the atmosphere happening, you have all these electromagnetic currents, then electromagnetism is formed, okay? But boom, it blows up. So all of those gravitons are converted into dark energy, and all that fundamental matter, all that fundamental gravity is now these three forces combined, because they were all created in this explosion of the God particle, the Higgs boson, this quantum evolved protonuclear star. This is the basic understanding that you have to know to understand the theory of everything. You have to understand that this is a joke and they are laughing at us. Either that or somebody is laughing at somebody because they're wasting their time with the Hadron Collider. Okay, relativity is what matters here. When you have a 0-point particle or a micronova, that is as big as a Big Bang compared on a different cosm. See what I'm saying? They might have been very small, but that relativity, if you're on its relativity, then it lasted forever. It was a star. On our relativity, we have the Big Bang or stars, basically. This is still part of the microcosm. Okay, it becomes the nutricosm once it blows up and gives us matter as we know it and we can measure. But it's all about relativity. This is the secrets behind the Hadron Collider. This is what they are missing out. You have protons, okay? Now, we had plasma in the universe that created us, all right? They created everything. Plasma, all right. Protons need to be smashed here. And electrons need to be shot in, literally in its relativity. This will create a microplasma. This will end up creating and forming microparticles like a microverse. This will give us all of the information that we need of the microverse. But they have to take electrons and apply them with the protons and neutrons. They can't just smash them together alone and expect to learn much. They found all these particles, remnants, that began and made the singularity. Ain't that funny? It looks like Pac-Man. They found all the particles, but they're not going to find out how they all work if they don't use relativity. They use micro-relativity is what they need. They need to apply electrons to the protons and neutrons that are being smashed. This way, once these microparticles fly apart and these electrons interact with them, they're going to start doing things that they're wanting to find out. This is where they've got, it's like there's a veil right over our eyes. This is the veil over our eyes. This bullcrap. Expecting space here, the rest of it not to exist. It had to exist. It had to. You cannot apply time to empty, void space that goes on forever. You just can't. You cannot do it. You can only apply time to matter, and that's what we got. This is when the Big Bang happened. This is when hydrogen, helium, and lithium were distributed all over the universe. This is when our time frame starts. Okay? You have to understand this stuff. This is the theory of everything, and this is the key to understanding the microverse.